Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom, how you guys doing tonight? Shalom, shalom. It's Mike back with another Monday night men's Bible meeting. So brothers come on in, brothers come in, and let's chop it up for a little bit, brothers. Come on in here, man, so we can chop it up and talk about what's going on, man. We're talking about tonight, we're going to talk about men taking the time to investigate all matters before making a righteous decision, man. Investigate the whole matter so you can make a righteous judgment. Because as men, sometimes we get put in situations where we go off emotion. Something might have happened to your wife, something might have been said that happened to your daughter or your mom or your sister or anything like that. And sometimes we jump the gun. And instead of investigating the whole matter, we make righteous judgment. You get what I'm saying? We rush the judgment. And sometimes we don't even listen to both sides of the matter. Sometimes we rush the judgment just because favoritism for one of the people involved. We don't even take the time to think about what the other person is going through or what's being said or what's going on or what really happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's wrong that we do that, but that's what be really going on, man. We don't take the time to actually go see what happened. What do that other person have to say? And I've seen situations like that, man, where somebody that's supposed to be in a higher position come out and start blasting somebody else, and everybody automatically just take that person's side because of the position they in. Respect their person, which is a sin, according to the Most High, man. We got to hear the whole matter before we make any decisions. And there's been some cases recent where we've seen this happen. I just did a video last week about a brother whose wife called him and he came to the Walmart. His wife pointed at some guy, and he pulled out his gun, man, and shot the guy, and then was about to shoot the guy again, and the cops killed him. Now, once the cops did an investigation on the scene and came out that the wife and her friend came out and saw the guy beefing with his girl and got in his business. But since the husband didn't do a thorough investigation, he just acted. It cost him his life, man. Cost him his life, man. Recently, I remember seeing a story about a woman in Florida who was going at it with her boyfriend and called her two brothers to go over to the boyfriend's house to take care of the boyfriend. The two brothers go over to the boyfriend's house, ready to take care of them. Both of them get killed by the boyfriend. Those two brothers don't even know the whole story of what really happened. They never took the time to do a thorough investigation. Now their life is gone, man. Both of them. Then I remember it was a former NFL player who broke up with this girl who was married, and the woman was married. The woman called her brother, made a fake story. The brother and the friend went to get the former NFL player. The NFL player ended up killing the friend. They go to trial. The NFL player go to trial for former NFL player to go to trial for killing a friend. And the woman gets on the stand and says, point blank, she lied. She lied, man, and was able to get up and walk out of there. Nothing happened. But that man lost his life because he went along and he didn't take the time to investigate the matter and make a righteous judgment. That's why, fellas, sometimes we be in situations, man, where somebody might call you very emotional. That's when you got to pray, and that's when you got to ask God for discernment to be able to make a righteous judgment, because that wrong judgment can cost you your life, man, or cost you your freedom. And that person just could have been emotional. I'm not telling you once you do your examination or your investigation not to handle what you need to handle as a man. You get what I'm saying? Within the law. But do the investigation first, man. It'd be a lot of stuff going on, man. You know what I'm saying? I just left a church where the guy that was the elder would just come out in different situations and just accuse people of stuff, and guys didn't even investigate the situation, would just take his side without even knowing what's going on. That just was crazy to me. How you not gonna look at both sides of the matter? How you just gonna point the finger without hearing what this other guy has to say? And in most cases, I ain't even know the other guys, but I still wanted to hear what they had to say, man. Because we got to be able to hear both sides of the story to make a righteous decision. If not, then what are we really doing, man? So we're going to go over some scriptures and talk about and see what the Most High says about these situations and what are you supposed to do in these kind of situations. You know what I mean? Because it could cost you your life, man. It could cost you. It could cost you where you could die or anything like that, man. Because of not making investigation to do a righteous decision, man. So let's start with in the book of Proverbs. You know, that book of wisdom, chapter 18, verse 13. He says, he that answereth matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. Starts off from the rip. When you answer a matter before you hear it, it is folly and shame unto you for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Verse 14, the spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? So when you lie on somebody like that, man, you wounding them without even taking the time to really listen to the matter and really make a judgment. Go look at both sides of it, hear what's going on, and then make your judgment, man. The heart of a prudent man getteth knowledge, and the ear of a wise seeketh knowledge. So if you wise, you want to go out and seek. What's going on, man? Not just hear one thing and then jump to the conclusion like, all right, this is what happened, man. I'm ready to go ride. I'm ready to do this. Not even sitting down as a man and having a conversation because we want to act emotional. We want to go out and save the day. We want to do this and do that without getting the full knowledge of the information. And without the information, we don't really know what happened. And it's a lot of men that's dead or in jail because this is what they did, man. Verse 17, he that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him. That mean that brother coming, he come to you with the story. Yeah, he gonna make it sound good. And you're going to be convinced, yeah, this is what happened, man. Yo, this brother did this to me. This brother did that to me, man. This brother is grimy, blah, 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 blah. We need to rebuke this brother. We need to get this brother out of the congregation. We need to do this. We need to do that. And then brothers act on it. Screaming on the brother, this and this, blah, 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 posting things, this and this. Never heard his side of the story. Then it said, his neighbor cometh. His neighbor cometh and searcheth him. His neighbor come and say, nah, bro, it didn't happen like that. This what really happened. And then you get the whole story and you like, whoa, this kind of makes sense, man. This kind of makes sense. But before that, what do we do? Jump to the conclusion. What's up, Ed? Yeah, I'm gonna get to that scripture. I think I had that one on my list. I'm gonna get to that one, brother. You know what I'm saying? And it happens over and over and over because people not taking the time to do diligent research. They just respect a person or going off emotion. Not taking the time to do the research, man. Getting involved in domestic violence situations when 9 times out of 10, they usually get back together. And I'm not telling you not to defend nobody in your family. What I'm telling you is investigate the situation first, man. Because you can lose your life over a lie, man. You can lose your life and them two people will be right back together. So investigate the situation first thoroughly. Sit both parties down or have both parties on the phone, investigate the situation thoroughly. Because if not, you could lose your life for nothing, next to nothing. So we're going to read over these proverbs again and move on. He that answereth a matter before he hear of it is folly and shame unto him. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent man getteth knowledge, and the ear of a wise seeketh knowledge. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him. Come on, man. Our next stop is John. John 7:24. Judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Judge not according to appearance. So something might look a certain way. But he said, don't do it. Hold up. We got to really look this over. We got to make sure this is this. Blah, blah, blah. She might come to you, hair all disheveled, this going on, that's going on. She might have marks on it, blah, blah, blah. And you ready to ride. But you ain't know she put the marks on herself. You didn't know that. So now you in the mix. Next thing you know, you kill the other person or you get killed. And it's just all facts, man. Or you might go to the house because you heard about something going on with your sister and you get over there and she's scared to tell you what's really going on. But you don't really investigate. You just look around and you don't really see nothing. You don't really investigate the brother. Then you leave. There's something bad happened to her. So it goes both ways. So you got to sit down and do a thorough investigation of what's going on. We got to do a thorough investigation. Don't just go by appearance. Judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. We got to sit down and have a righteous judgment on the matter. You got to ask some questions. If needed, you might have to ask some questions that'll put some people in the corner, make them a little uncomfortable so you could get to the truth. Because if not, like I said, it might could cost you your life, man. It definitely might can cost you your life. And that's the part that a lot of people don't talk about. Everybody run out and doing this and doing that, but they don't know. Bro, rushing to judgment can be a very dangerous situation, man. Point blank, period. So let's go back into the Old Testament, man. My man Solomon, once he became in, he asked the Most High to give him the wisdom. He asked the Most High to give him the wisdom. And then one night, a baby died from a woman. And she stole the other one baby. And they went to Solomon. They had to make a decisions. Both of them was claiming it was their baby. Solomon could have rushed the judgment and just listened to the first one. But since he asked the Most High for that wisdom, he sat down and he put him to test. So we're going to go to 1 Kings. 1 Kings chapter 3. Verse 16. Then came there two women that were harlots unto the king and stood before him. And one woman said, O my Lord, I am a woman dwelling in one house, but I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the third day after I was delivered that this woman was delivered also, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we two in the house. And this woman child died in the night because she overlaid it. And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me, with thy handmaid slept, and laid in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son, which I did bear. And the other woman said, Nay, but living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, No, but the dead son is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spake before the king. Now Solomon could have listened to the first lady, especially if she had tears. It could have hit him emotionally. He could have got sucked into the story. But through his wisdom, he kept listening to the ladies. He kept listening to his wisdom and the discernment that the Most High gave him, man. Then the king said, the one said, It is my son that liveth, and thy son is the dead. And the other said, Nah, but this is thy son that is dead, and thy son that is living. And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the child into two, and give half to one and half to the other. Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned for her upon her son. And she said, O my lord, give her the living child, in no way wise slay it. But the other said, Let it be neither mine nor thee, but divided. So his wisdom let him know to ask the right question, to put them in a certain situation, so then he will be able to determine who child it was. But what if he would have acted quickly? What if he would have went off the emotions of the first one, man? Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. And all of Israel hold the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king. They saw the wisdom of the king with him to do judgment. They saw what the Most High had did through Solomon, the wisdom he had to come up with that scenario, to put both of the women on the spot, because he didn't go with his emotions, man. He took the time to make wise judgment. Are we doing that, fellas? Are we taking the time to make wise judgment in our household? Are we taking the time to make wise judgment at work? Are we taking the time to make wise judgment among our brothers? Are we taking our time to make wise judgment in these churches? Are we taking that time? Or are we rushing because how we feel, or we want to please people, or we want to have respect of a person? Or that just might be my boy. I got to ride with my boy. I know my boy ain't lying. He ain't never lied to me before. But there's no respect of person when it comes to that. We got to make the righteous judgment, man. It's only right. We got to make the righteous judgment. We got to take the time and do due diligence to go through it so we can make the righteous judgment. Next one, Exodus 18:13 through 26. And it came to pass on tomorrow. Hold up. Let's start at 12. And Jethro, mother's father-in-law, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for the Most High. And Aaron came and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before the Most High. And it came to pass on tomorrow that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses for the morning until the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, and he said, What is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning until evening? And Moses said unto his father-in-law, Because the people came unto me to inquire of God. And when they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one another, and I do make them know the statutes of God and his laws. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, The thing thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away, both thou and his people that is with thee. For this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now unto my voice. I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to the God ward, and thou mayest bring the causes unto the Most High. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, Thou shalt provide out of the people able men, such as to fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such men over them to the rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties and rulers of 10. And let them judge the people of all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and thou shalt bear the burden with thee. And if thou do this thing, the Most High commanded thee so, that thou shalt be able to endure, and all the people shall be able to go in peace. So he basically telling Moses, listen, bro, if you take on all these matters, they're going to drive you crazy. So you're going to set up other men that's going to take on the matters for you, but the real heavy things, they're going to bring to you. And that was a good thing, because that would have wore him out. Everybody coming to him with their problems over and over. And then after a while, he starts to get fatigued. And then guess what he probably would have did? He probably would have started rushing to judgment. I don't feel like weighing the matter. You know what I'm saying? No doubt, at his first lesson in delegation. You know what I'm saying? First lesson in delegation. You definitely 100%, Ed. His first lesson in delegation, man. But he wouldn't have never did that. You know what I'm saying? He probably would have started rushing to judgment. But his father-in-law had the wisdom from the Most High and said, slow down. Slow down. And shout out to Moses for having the patience and to listen to his father-in-law. Like, all right, man, slow down. Look, delegate what's going on. This is too much for you. And sometimes us being bosses, we do that, man. I remember running my company. My boys used to reach out to me. After a while, I said, listen, bro, you over at that site, man, I trust you. Unless it's something super crazy that you need to call me. Other than that, handle the situation because I trust you. But if it's too heavy, they'll call me, and then I have to make the judgment. That's what it's about. But you don't spread yourself thin. Then once you spread yourself thin, you start getting frustrated, and then you're more likely to rush to judgment because you don't feel like being bothered, because every 10 minutes somebody is coming to you with a matter. So the diligence of his father-in-law to come up with that solution, that was nothing but the Most High, man. That was nothing but the Most High, man. That's what we got to do. We got to take our time and do that, man. And we got to also remember that the law requires careful judgment and investigation. And that's part of the problem too, because a lot of places where we learned told us that the law was done away with. But this is where we learn the tools of what we need to do and how we deal with each other. This is where we learn those tools. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 13. Make sure I got the right one. Deuteronomy chapter 13. 12 to 15. And thou shalt hear, say in one of thy cities, which the Lord thy God has given thee to dwell there, saying, certain men, the children of Belial, are going out among you, and have withdrawn the inhabitants of their city, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which ye have not known. Thou shalt then shalt thou endure and make search and ask diligently. And behold, if this be truth and the thing certain that such abomination is wrought among you, thou shalt surely smite the inhabitants of the city in the edge of the sword, destroying them utterly, and all that therein, and the cattle thereof, and the edge of the sword. And thou shalt gather the spoil of the midst thereof, and shall burn it in the city. And all that thereof, every whit from the Lord God, it shall be a heap forever, and it shall not be built again. Let me see this. Before judging the city accused of idolatry, Israel was commanded to investigate thoroughly. You got to go look through the city. Thou shalt then inquire and make search and ask diligently. And behold, if the truth and the thing be certain, You can't just go in there and do this. We gotta search. We gotta ask. We gotta do what he required us to do. Because we jump the gun sometime, and when we jump the gun, we get in trouble, man. We get in trouble when we jump the gun. Slow down. Make sure you do your due diligence as a man. Slow down. If somebody tell you that one of your brothers tried to cross you, do the due diligence, man. Do the due diligence. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people bear false witness. Like my brother Ed brought out. A brother bear false witness quick. Just to watch you wild out. A brother bear false witness quick to watch you wild out, man. And there were some other examples where people rushed to judgment. Rushed because everything seemed like it was A-okay at the time, man. And it's sad, man. It's sad that you see people going through that. Because the judges were forbidden to show partiality. Moses instructed them, man. Moses told them you can't show partiality when you're doing these judgments. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 16 and 17. So Moses said, I took the chief of tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over your captains, over you. Captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over fifties, and captains over tens, and captains over officers among your tribes, like his father-in-law told him. And I charge your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with him, even a stranger too, man. Verse 17, ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. So when you got that person that's in there, that's just coming into the congregation or just coming around, you listen to him just as well as you might listen to the person that's supposed to be the leader. We got to listen to both of y'all. It doesn't matter who is who. You listen, man. So parents, so fathers, when you go to school and your child is telling you the teacher did this and did that, you don't go in there and start wilding out. You listen to both sides of the matter. When the teacher is telling you something about your child, you don't just go ham on your child. You listen to both sides of the matter. That's what a man do. That's why the Most High gave us the logical thinking. And when you have the logical thinking with the Holy Spirit, you're going to be inclined to make the better decisions. It says, ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is God's. So that dude that you respect and you think he all that, he has to get judged just like everybody else. So when it's time for you to make a decision, you go by the word of God. You do not go by who he think he is. And you're not supposed to fear him, because we only fear the Most High, man. We only fear the Most High. No matter who he is, if you know he's doing wrong, you call it out and say he's doing wrong, man. And that's the problem. We got too many people men that's call themselves men, but they be scared to call out men that they know are doing wrong. For ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is God, and the cause that is too hard for you, bring it to him, and I will bring it to me, and I will hear it. So Moses told him, listen, man, listen. Y'all gonna have to go down there. I'm gonna set up y'all judges, y'all captains, and this and that, and then the judges is gonna make their judgment. And I don't care who the person is, but if you feel like it's an issue, come to me and I'll do the judgment. Because Moses wasn't scared, man. Moses wasn't scared to say, nah, this is right, this is wrong. And I commanded you at that time, all the things which ye should do. Fellas, we can't be scared to make those judgments, man. We can't be scared. We can't be scared if we know our wife is wrong in a situation, to tell our wives. Babe, I love you, but you was wilding. You could have put me at risk. You could have put our family at risk because of your emotions. I investigated this situation. It was your mouth that got us in this situation. Why are you arguing with a man? I told you don't even talk to a man about anything. You come tell me about it. Why are you arguing with a man? Now we in this situation. That brother at that Walmart that got killed, if he would have handled it like that, he probably would be still alive. But he didn't take the time to do a diligent investigation. He just went in and started wilding, man, and it cost him his life. We got to have patience, brother. We got to have patience, brothers. But we can't be having that respect the person where we're scared to tell a person they wrong, man. Nah, bro, that ain't right. What you doing ain't right. Regardless of how you feel about it, anything, that ain't right. Because when you're scared like that, how you think your wife look at you when you get home? How you think she look at you, man, and be like, yo, you knew that was wrong and you ain't say nothing to that guy? But you want to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. We got to take the time to make righteous judgments, man. Don't be scared to do it. Don't be scared to make righteous judgments. We got to take the time to do it. It doesn't matter what anybody think, how they feel about it. The Most High is going to protect you when he know that you doing what's going on, man. Even the Romans, man, when they was in power, let's go to Acts 25. They told them, ho, man, we gotta make sure this is right. We got to make sure this is right before this happens. We can't just be rushing doing this. 25, 14 to 16. Whoo. And when they had been there for many days, Festus declared Paul, calls unto the king, saying, there is a certain man left in the bonds of Felix, and whom, when I was at Jerusalem, the chief priests and the elders of the Jews informed me, desiring to have judgment against him. To whom I answered, it is not the matter of the Romans to deliver a man to die. Before that which is accused, have the accusers face to face, and have a license to answer for himself concerning the crime laid against him. So they like, yo, ho. We can't just kill this man. He got to have a face-to-face with his accuser. His accuser going to have to let us know what he did in front of his face. Because they wanted to get a thorough investigation. They didn't rush to judgment. Because sometimes when you bring them two people face-to-face, that's when the truth comes out. We need those face-to-face situations so we can really see who's really telling the truth. That's why the law said that a defendant gets the right to face his accuser in court. Because many people can lie when they're not around you. But what they going to do when they facing you face-to-face? Are they going to still continue with that lie? And people can make up anything, man. Do not put it past anybody to think that they won't lie when they put in a certain situation. And you'll just be sitting there in the defendant's table like, I can't believe this person is lying like this. I remember being in court, man, and I was on the witness stand when I testified at the trial for the guys that killed my wife, and they was talking about the first cop. he was reading the statement that they said I talked to him in the barbershop and something I said to him. And I'm like, man, I never said none of this to this guy. But he just lied and made it up. So it happens every day. That's why we have to do a thorough investigation. Just imagine we about to talk about that sister Susanna, man. Just imagine if Daniel ain't intervened. Them two elders would have got the young lady clipped. And she was innocent. She was innocent, man. They saw the young lady. They wanted to get at her. The young lady wasn't having it. They tried to press her. The young lady screamed out. So they made up a story. They made up a story and said they saw her with another guy. They made up a story, man. And the people was ready to to take her out of here because she had a husband already. Her husband named Joaquin. She had a husband already, so they was ready to kill her. And all this time, she was innocent. The elders went there, testified, told their stories, blah, blah, blah. And people was believing them at first. And then the Most High put that spirit in Daniel. And Daniel came and was like, nah. Let's go. Daniel chapter 13. Daniel 13. 45. And as she was being led to be put to death, the Most High aroused the Holy Spirit in a young lad named Daniel, and he cried out with loud voice, I am innocent of the blood of this woman. Letting them know, y'all about to kill this woman in front of me. And listen, bro, y'all ain't putting this on me. This woman innocent. And all the people turned to him and said, what is this that you have said? Taking his stand in the midst of them, he said, are you such fools, you sons of Israel? Have you condemned the daughter of Israel without examination and without learning the facts? Return to the place of judgment, because these men have been born false information against her. The Most High put it in this young lad. And it was elder guys there that didn't want to come out and do no investigation. It took the young brother to say, nah, this is wrong. The Most High put that spirit in him. He spoke up. Then all the people returned in haste, and the elder said unto him, come sit down among us and inform us, for God has given you that right. And Daniel said to them, separate them far from each other, and I will examine them. He said, put each elder in a room. I want to talk to them one-on-one. And when they separated from each other, he summons one of them and said to him, you old relic of wicked days, your sins have now come home, and which you have committed in the past. So the Most High gave him the knowledge to understand this ain't the first time this man been doing this, man. Pronouncing unjust judgments, condemning the innocent and letting the guilty go free through the Lord said, do not put to death an innocent and righteous person. Now then, if you really saw her, tell me this. Under what tree did you see them being intimate with each other? Because they lied and said they saw her being intimate under a tree with another man, knowing she was married. And he answered, under the mastic tree. And Daniel said, very well. You have lied against your own head, for the angel of the Most High have received the sentence from God and will immediately cut you in two. Woo! Then he put him aside and commanded them to bring the other. And he said to him, you offsprings of Canaan and not of Judah, beauty has deceived you and lust have perverted your heart. This is how you both have been dealing with the daughters of Israel, and they were intimate with you through fear. But the daughter of Judah would not endure your wickedness. She wasn't having it. She said, I'd rather die than give in to y'all and sin against the Most High. Now then tell me, under what tree did you catch them being intimate with each other? And he answered, under the ever oak. And Daniel said to him, very well, you have lied against your own head, for the angel of the Most High is waiting with the sword to saw you in two, that he may destroy you both. Then the assembly shouted loudly, bless God who saves those who help him. And they rose against the two elders, for out of the mouth of their own mouths Daniel had convicted them of bearing false witness. And they did to them as they had wickedly planned to do to their neighbor. And according to the law of Moses, they put them to death. Thus the innocent bloods were saved that day. Come on, man. Daniel did the research. Daniel did the investigation. Because he wasn't scared. That Holy Spirit was in him and he said, nah, I got to speak up about this. That's the kind of men we need out here right now. That's not afraid to speak up about the truth. That's not afraid to do examination. No, I want to hear that guy's side of the story too. He deserved to talk. I remember a situation happened with a brother way from California. Man, I don't know. I never know nothing about this brother. Never talked to him before. None of that kind of stuff. But the elder guy was on there talking crazy about him. Everybody was convicting the brother from Cali named Bronze. I was like, yo, hold up, man. I gotta hear what this brother gotta say too. Never knew him. Didn't know who he was or anything. But I needed to hear his side of the story, man. I needed to hear what he had to say about the situation before I came to a conclusion. And I ain't have to know him. That's just only right. And the scriptures say that. We can't be jumping the gun. Because people lie. People make stuff up. People bear false witness. That's what they do. And the Most High commands us to hear all matters, the whole thing through, before we decide to say this is what happened, man. I need to listen to both sides. People get emotional all the time. Jump on here, start crying, tell you a story. Everybody get tied into the story, this and this, blah, blah, blah. And don't even think about it's another side to this story, man. So in closing, fellas, don't rush to judgment. Make sure that you take your time. Pray. Ask God to give you discernment to decide what to do in this matter. Then weigh both sides of the situation. Make sure you thoroughly talk to all parties involved. Then pray again and ask God to bring forth the answer that you need in this decision. Because if not, it could cost you your life or your freedom, man. I don't care who is concerning. Make sure you do the due diligence and make sure you're not scared to call out somebody. No respect of persons. We just read about how that's a sin. If you really love and respect that person, you'll tell them the truth. Because you could help save their soul. This is Mike. Enjoy the rest of your night. Shalom.